obviously I want to fill in these bedrooms a little bit more. It might pay to go ahead and build some more beds and bedrooms now that my initial dwarves are covered, so that when I get my wave of migrants, I don't have to scramble to do it. Um, so like that might be a good thing to do. Let's do the whole cross pattern here just to prep it, since I ended up having to do this on a higher layer. Oh no, that's as far as I want to go. That's a 2 out. I think I went too far. I think before what I had was basically this. Well, in any case, I think that's enough for now. Yeah. Alright, and then my miners, let's go ahead and put them back on mining detail. And I guess we just do the rest of this. I guess we just do a big open cavern. I don't really think I want to do anything fancy for this layer. I can always build constructions later for walls around here if I want to like add a little bit more structure to this. You can even engrave constructions that you create, which I want to say that that wasn't a thing before, but I could be wrong. I could just be remembering wrong. But I feel like I used to care more about like making sure I didn't dig out wall that I wanted. It seems friendlier now. Like I even noticed, you know, one thing is I didn't like the look of like, you know, in this case it's like I have this like unexplored and it's kind of like black around here. And if I like accidentally dug out, you know, like an extra squares here, even if I constructed them, like I'd still be able to see that like I'd seen past there, and it kind of just like always looks ugly. But I've actually noticed that it actually kind of fills back in the black now, even when you build against the wall like that. So yeah, again, I think it's just a little friendlier now than it was for aesthetic purposes. Alright. Yeah, I guess we'll just have a big kind of cross here, and then it'll just lead down. Like, sure, let's go. Also, another thing that when I first started playing this game, before it even had a 3D layer and it was just one 2D plane, is the game used to have some pretty strict cave-in rules for how big a kind of wide open mined out space could be. I want to say it was like pretty small, like even like a 5x5 or more or something like that. You'd have to have at least one support. You can still build actually these supports, which are I think just kind of like a holdover now, because I don't really think they do anything. I don't think you can have cave-ins in that way. The only way I really know of now that you can have cave-ins, I believe, is if you basically specifically set it up, like you know, put a bunch of wall on like a support and then like break the support or something like that, or like dig out underneath the, you know, a chunk, then it'll cave in. But other than that, I don't think you really have to worry about it anymore. I might eat my words if I get a cave in here, but I don't think that's a thing anymore. But I still always think about it, even though it hasn't been the case since like I was in college or something. Alright, what do we got going on with our dwarves here? Everybody doing something? Planters planting. These guys are stockpiling. I haven't got my crafts dwarf going yet, which I really should. Actually, you know, probably before I started getting these other rooms for these migrants, I should have done that one, but it's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just mine it out now, and maybe I'll just get him going, even though I don't really have a place for his stuff to go yet. This is going to be another one that I want to do as a traditional stockpile, I think. The reason being, and not a quantum stockpile, the reason being is because ultimately when I trade with this stuff, I want to just be able to have my dwarves go down and pick up bins of stuff and take it up. Otherwise it's like a huge job, you know, you're talking about potentially dozens or even hundreds of little individual crafts, and it takes forever to have, you know, unless you have a ton of dwarves, like for them to take all those up individually. So you want them to do it in the bins, and anytime you want kind of a stockpile full of bins, like you're basically doing a traditional stockpile at that point. So, you know, I'll probably just set that up so close to the entrance here. Oh, what do I have here? Floor fungus. The hell is that? Okay. I probably want to, you know, I'm basically going to build my trade depot up here somewhere. I might even do it like on this first level or something, and have the trade depot kind of like come in here, you know, through the side. Last time I did it on the top of my fort, but it might be nice to kind of have cover that I don't have to build. And I want there to be like sort of a short path between like the finished goods, you know, they kind of just come down here, pick up bins out of here, and take it up. So what I might do is, traditionally I would just kind of like have him finish it here and bring it to the center. But if I do my trade depot on this level, might not be a bad idea to do the finished goods like, you know, maybe behind, like maybe I have the trade depot over here and I have the finished goods here, or maybe even like on the level below this, since I didn't really start my farm until this level. Like I kind of have a free level up here where I could sort of do like, you know, just stockpiling for the trade depot. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. For now, I think I'm gonna get rid of this though, because I'm not doing anything with this. It's just sort of just planning. Yeah, we'll go from there. So maybe I'll just have him get started, is what I was saying. His mugs are still there. Okay, I gotta remember that. Let's have you do rock crafts. And the crafts are kind of an interesting one, like a unique one, where you can do some specific ones here, like crowns, you know, scepters, toys, rings, amulets. Crafts is just sort of like, it's going to basically do a random one of these, like different categories that I just went over. Which, like, it doesn't really matter. They're all kind of roughly worth, I think, like the same base value to the traders. The main thing that's going to increase your value on these is like the skill of the person working on them and having them be superior quality, and then potentially having them decorated later. Like, you know, another thing you can do here in the craft shop is with like bone, for example, is you could have them do bone decorations, and they'll kind of take things that have been created and decorate them with bone. This is another good opportunity, decoration things like this, to use the specific stockpiles, so that normally they're just kind of going out and grabbing anything that can be decorated that is laying around your fortress and decorating it, which is fine. I mean, that can work, no problem. But if you want to kind of specify, like you want to do this for trading goods, or you want to do this for specific stuff that's going to stay in your fort and provide value here, you can set that system up. For now, I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to go ahead and do crafts. Why would you want to do specifics? So what's going to happen with your nobles? I haven't set any nobles yet, but eventually your nobles are going to start, if you go into, let me just show you this here. Let's take a look at one of these guys. Let's say that I make like this crafts dwarf here, Tobel. If I make him a noble, and he ends up becoming like, some kind of leader in my fortress or something like that, and he's making essentially mandates, is one of the things that they're going to do, where they're going to basically, not going to force you, but they're going to request and mandate that you make certain things. And if you don't do it, like, they're going to get pissed off. It can have other negative consequences. So you kind of got to meet those mandates. And they're also going to prohibit exports sometimes, because they want you to make these things, and they don't want you to ship these things. And those things are going to be based on things that they like. So like if you go into their personality and like their preferences, for example, it's going to tell you here, like, here's some stuff that they like. They like bucklers. They like animal traps. So if I make this guy a noble, like, there's a good chance he's going to be mandating me to make bucklers every once in a while and make animal traps every once in a while, and he's not going to want me to trade these. So one thing you can do is, before you make nobles, you can sort of check these, and if they have something very annoying that you don't want to be stuck with those restrictions on, like keep that guy as a peasant or a worker. That's not going to be dictating what you can and can't do. The other thing that you can do is you can, I had this in my last game. My main guy, he loved crowns, and so this crafts option kind of became a little bit more of a crapshoot, because a fifth of the things that they made were crowns, and so I handled that by just creating a special crown stockpile, and removing crowns from my finished goods stockpile, so that they would all kind of be in their own bins. And if the traders came during a period where they were banned from export, I just left those bins alone. But it's like, if you don't do that micromanagement, I got stuck sometimes before I did that with, like, crowns were banned, and I had dozens of these finished good bins that I'm bringing up that are just crowns are mixed all throughout, and so it puts me into this situation where I'm sitting there like clicking out, not selecting certain things from the menu, and it's just a complete pain in the ass. But another thing that you can do, all of that is to say, you can just specify very specific things. If that's getting really annoying, like, maybe you just make nothing but amulets or bracelets, which none of your nobles care about. So it just depends. Right now, I'm just going to do crafts. This is kind of just what I recommend, if you don't care. I'm going to set that on repeat, so he's just going to keep doing it, and I'm going to try to keep this guy here most of the time and just get this full. And then for now, since I'm going to do a traditional stockpile, I'm going to do it on this level for now, but like I said, I think I might eventually move this up to be a little bit closer to the trade depot here, which I haven't created yet. So for now, I'm just going to create a finished goods stockpile. We'll just do kind of a small one right here, and just do any finished goods. Let's do all, and then for the type, I mean, I could probably just do all right now because I don't have anything else going, but to protect myself later, maybe I will actually do none on this and only select the things I know are going to be built with crafts. So that's going to be amulets, crowns, figurines, I believe, rings, scepters, toys? It's toys included? I'll include toys. I don't know if it actually is. I think totems are something different. I think I got them all. Yeah, I think I got them all. Oh, bracelets. That one too. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think toys is one of them, actually. I think there's 6 maybe categories that they can make with crafts. Yeah, we'll see. We'll let it go for a while, and if I miss something, it'll be obvious because I'll check the shop and we'll see if there's something still left. And for these, for these categories, these ones are a little bit weird. For these stockpiles, you want to be a little bit careful because you need to make sure that not only the type, but like the material and the quality is selected that you want to. So it's always easiest to sort of start in a situation from all, like I did, and then just like filter out what you don't want. Than it is to go from the starting out with everything off and then going for what you want. Yeah. Okay. Let's do trade goods. Here is what I want. Now that's not going to take these mugs, which were created, but I want these mugs anyway. Jesus, he created a lot of mugs. I thought we were only creating 7 of these things. What the hell happened? I didn't have that on repeat, did I? I don't know. In the dining room, we can have the mugs. Let's do a stockpile in here for mugs for now. It's a little baby one. Or I guess we'll just put it on this side. That is huge for mugs, but whatever. We can change it later. That's going to be finished goods also, I believe. Again, I'll just start from all, and then none on type, and then is it not mugs? Is it? It's not furniture, is it? No. Mugs might count as flasks or goblets. Let me double check this on the wiki. A mug is a goblet. Okay. Goblets. Yeah, flasks are a little bit different. Flasks are what all your military is going to need when you create a military. Oh, you might be right, Jacob. Yeah, one order is multiple mugs. That makes sense. That's okay. I'm going to eventually have more migrants anyway, so it's okay to have more. Flasks are what your military are all going to need to basically carry alcohol on them so that they don't constantly, when they're training or when they're out on the front line, they don't have to go constantly back to get more drinks. All right, let's do the goblets and let's get that going and see what's going on here. All right, so we got our basic tables and chairs up here. We haven't created this room yet, but let's go ahead and create this room, and I'll just do the center area here for now, since I don't have the whole room created yet. And we'll just call this it's a meeting area, accept, and you can turn these into other things, so like this button down here, once you create the main thing, some generic types of rooms can be created into more specific things. So inns and taverns and guild halls and libraries. For now, we're just going to leave this as a meeting hall. Oh, sorry, I don't want. I take this all back. I mean, all that is true, but in this case, I actually want this to be a dining hall and not a meeting area. And you can assign this to somebody and have it be their own personal one, but we're just going to leave it as a generic. This one can also be assigned to different things, but we're just going to leave it as a generic dining hall, and we'll just name this like whatever, main dining room. And now they should go here when they eat and drink, and their drinks will be right here, and their finished food will be here. We don't have any finished food yet, so temporarily they're going to have to run up and get, some of these plump helmets or something like that, but that's fine. We'll start getting food going soon. looks like they ran out. So you get this notice here when things get canceled. Once you start getting more, like a ton of dwarves in your fortress, this becomes insanely, like, it just is always going. You're always going to be having these. But it is good to be able to just look back and see kind of like your errors about what happened here. So this guy got knocked out at some point and stopped cutting the tree. Wow, he's out of plump helmet spawn? No way. He's still got 71. How the hell did this happen? Maybe these were all being moved. This might have been, I haven't checked this in a long ass time. This might have actually been when they were all being moved and temporarily, like, they couldn't do anything because they were in transit. That's my suspicion, because I don't think I ever ran out. But this would be a good one to watch for, because if you do run out of seeds, like, you know, you're in a bit of a pickle unless you have a lot of that fruit that you can brew or something like that to get more seeds. You might have to wait for traders to come and trade you more. Is generally the only way you're going to be able to get them. And you can put them in a trade agreement so that they'll bring more the next year, but it's not a situation you want to be in for your crucial stuff. So this is saying he can't brew anymore, which is shocking to me also, because they have an absolute ton of stuff in here. So maybe that was also a special time. I'm going to set this up to brew again. It's saying it can't. I'm so shocked. Did I turn off the wrong thing in standing orders here? Kitchen. Restricted from cooking, allowed to be brewed. Plum helmets can be brewed. Why on earth are you telling me that you're looking at the brewing ingredients and not finding plum helmets and strawberries? Why oh why? Oh, food storage item. Whoops, I just read this wrong. Yeah, that just means I don't have enough barrels, and I've got too many bins. So let's temporarily cut out the bins and just do barrels for a little bit. All right, I was getting very confused. I'd really like them to come up and do this one. I shouldn't have designated all this yet, but now I don't want to stop it because I don't want to redraw that again. Alright, they're making the crafts. Everything else looks pretty good. Let me go check these caverns again. Anything fancy going on in here? Oh yeah, we got troglodytes running around down here. I don't want any of that. No troglodytes for me, but thankfully they don't have access. And they wouldn't have had access anyway, actually. So I walled this up, or I put floor in here where I had it downstairs. With just the downstairs, they actually wouldn't have been able to walk up here anyway. They would have had to have been an upstairs. However, if I get a flying guy down here, that's kind of what I'm worried about. I don't want there to be a flyer that comes up and flies through that hole. I'm thinking maybe I should bring my animals in here with the farming area. So I might... I wonder if there's any negative consequences for any of these animals not being outside. I feel like they might all prefer being inside, but I don't actually know. I don't know how... yeah, they don't like being caught out in the rain. They all hate that. Let's bring them in and just see what happens. I honestly can't remember the answer to this question. I kept them all outside in my last game because it just made a little bit more sense to me. But this might be one where it doesn't actually matter. So let's do that and come down here. Do this and inside. Let's just make it like the outer layer here. Oh yeah, it'll be good, fine. And do these guys again. Eventually these guys are going to start breeding. Alright, we got some finished goods coming. Oh, we've already got migrants. This is a good one to look out for here. We got some migrants coming. So we can watch our population number go up. It's gone up by 3 already, but it usually will continue to go up. So these guys, let me click on it here. You can see they come in from a side of the map, and as they sort of like start to enter the map, you'll see the population numbers count up. So you gotta kind of wait a few to see how many you're actually gonna get, and then we'll check them out too and see what kind of stuff they got here. So it looks like we got a peasant. This guy, look at this. He's his name is glowing here. It's flashing, which is interesting because he's a peasant. Typically, a flashing name like this is going to mean that he is legendary in some skill, which is surprising since he's a peasant. You know, usually he would have a some kind of crafting name here. So let's see what this guy's got going on. What is he legendary in? He's a legendary axe dwarf. Wow. And somehow not known as an axe dwarf. That might just be because he doesn't have an axe on him. But if we give this guy our copper axe, we already have a really good fighter here. So this guy is definitely probably going to be like, and he's an adept armor user and everything. This guy's probably going to be my first military leader here that I make. That's exciting. But let's let the rest of these guys come and see what else we get. So you got 12, 13, maybe just 13. I am happy that I already started building out these rooms. That makes me think that I should also do, let's go ahead and add bed to this. I'm going to keep him making barrels and repeat. So when you have, I've kind of already showed this off with bins and barrels, but when you have multiple jobs in here that are all on repeat, oh, I should have done that. I canceled this other thing, but that's fine. They will actually cycle between them, so you can kind of set multiple things in here, and you're still going to get them in a cycle. All right, yeah, we're going to need more beds. All right, it looks like we're only getting 13. I've let it run for a little while here, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we got. So we got another mason. New arrival. We got another woodcutter. A doctor, which is cool. What is this guy skilled at? He's that's interesting that they're rusty, even coming. You know, if they haven't used the skill in a while, they eventually get rusty and very rusty. And they can de-rust if you have them do it again for a while. I'm a little bit surprised that they're coming here as new arrivals rusty. I thought that only happened if you took the action to not let them do that, but I guess this guy's got some history. So wound dressing, diagnostics. Yeah, maybe this guy will be my first doctor. I don't usually set up the hospital this early, but I guess it couldn't hurt. What else do we got here? Our axe dwarf peasant and a child. The children kind of suck. He sure doesn't look like a child. The children suck. Like they take like a realistically long time to grow up, I think, which is bizarre because like I had a fortress, you know, as a capital that I played for 9 years prior to this. So like even the children that were born, you know, at the very beginning of my playtime, like still were children at the end. Like it just takes a ridiculous amount of time. So they basically like, sometimes they'll still be like prodigies and make you artifacts. But for the most part, like you can't give them regular jobs. There is a screen in here in the standing orders for kids. I think it's in standing orders. Chores, yeah. So you have this one for chores once you get a kid, at least one, where by default, basically, they will do like basic stuff. Like they can, I don't think it's a good idea to let kids operate any levers, by the way. Um, but you can basically like have them do chores. By default they will. um, my you know, experience with this is, if you leave this on, like, your kids are just going to be absolute nightmares, and they'll always be irritated. um, they'll get really irritated, and they'll like freak out, and you know, basically, like, if your dwarves get so angry that they start like having temper tantrums and freaking out, like, they will like literally go insane. Like, they'll start hitting people and doing all kinds of stuff, and it usually just ends with them like getting killed, or like, you know, just going like snapping. So and then that can lead to spirals. Like, this person is probably, if I look at this kid, they probably came with a parent. So relations, yes. The mason and the father is the guy who I'm going to make the leader of my military right now. So if this kid gets so mad that he freaks out and ends up getting himself killed or something, it's going to have a devastating toll on these other dwarves. And like, it can basically create like this feedback loop where a lot of these relationships, they'll also grow relationships when they get here, right? Like, I got 2 miners and they mine together every day. Like, even if they didn't come here with a relationship, they probably will eventually have like a strong friendship and a relationship because they work together all the time. So like, you got to really be careful for stuff like this. So all that said, I'm actually going to leave it for now, but I will turn this off as soon as because I can kind of use all the help I can get right now. I just don't have many dwarves, so like carrying shit is going to help me out. But I actually will probably pretty quickly, you know, maybe once I hit like 30 dwarves or something like that, just turn that off and never turn it back on again. And then they'll basically just spend all of their time like playing, and sometimes they still get annoying and pissed off, but